Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Amy.
And I'm Kayla.
One
podcast.
Two sisters.
Two sisters.
Doing episode 17 right now, and it was the finale of Bachelor in Paradise. And I think this is like the most couples to ever come from Bachelor in Paradise
history.
And it's definitely the most engagements.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And it's actually really exciting because it's the first Black couple. There's been multiracial, but both being Black. It's the very first engagement for a Black couple.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I think that's great.
So this episode started with Noah and Abigail breaking up. What did you think about that?
What did I think about it?
I feel like she just didn't, like we've said, it's all about communication. The communication sucked, and I feel like he was going all for it, and he just felt like he was just tired of going all for it because he wasn't getting anything back, and so I think he got confused, because obviously now they love each other.
Yeah, and I think that just maybe Bachelor in Paradise wasn't their speed.
Mm-hmm.
And the day after prom is when like shit hit the fan, so they're like, I think they were just kind of bouncing out until it got really serious,
Mm-hmm.
Because they're like dating right now, they aren't engaged in real life, and the couples that stayed to get engaged were ready for that, and the people who didn't bounce, whether they're together or not together.
Yeah. Yep. Yes. I guess some people, like frickin' Ed apparently just thinks it's a free-for-all, just let's stay the night. That was so awkward.
So, like, Ed is, like, one of my favorite people on the planet.
Okay.
I think he's really just the funniest person. I don't know what it is about him. I don't think it's an act. I think it's, like, super authentically funny of just, like, who he is.
Or is he just a weirdo? Is he a weirdo?
He might be a little weird, but so am I. So am I, man. Like, there's something about him. I don't know. If Marcus, was into the picture, I wouldn't say no. I want to kick him out of bed.
Oh, he was just not taking no for an answer, though, at all.
It was a little aggressive.
Yeah, it was kind of like someone that, comes... I've read this, so this isn't my line, even though I want to just say it as my own. But it's like a guy that comes up to you at a bar and buys you a drink, and then it's like, now you're with me. You got
because
I'm not
I
leaving.
buy you a drink, then I own you now.
Yeah, because she was just like, yeah, well, we're definitely gonna meet up, and she's like, no, stop.
Yeah, for sure. He didn't get the hint, but McKenna stood her ground and was the powerful woman she was. And I'm so sorry for what the name we called her last
Mackenzie
week. We called her Mackenzie last week. Her name is McKenna, and I apologize. Obviously, in this first season of Bachelor Paradise, we aren't great with names. So maybe, I think, especially with the premiere, when there's 30 people and we do our recap, we're going to have to write shit down.
Yeah. Because these are people that have been on our television screens for a while, and we still mess up on the names.
Exactly.
So what did you think about Thomas and Becca's breakup?
I think Joe said it really perfectly, is that she's already had two really high-profile relationships from this franchise, and I think she was protecting herself.
Mm-hmm.
And I still can't figure out Thomas, and that's okay. I don't need to figure him out.
To me, that cry seemed very fake, but then at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to assume that of him, though. But it was weird.
I'm assuming if Becca's with him now, I trust Becca. Mm-hmm. And so it makes me feel like maybe there's just something about him that comes off to us as fake and comes off to a good portion of the world. But maybe that's just who he is, and maybe we just judged him very harshly, and we shouldn't have. Because, I mean, even, Becca said the same thing. That's how she took it as well, and she was super close to him. Mm-hmm. Maybe she kind of just realized that that's who he is, and he's just very, good with his words, but he means them.
Yeah. Well, and also it probably, once they hung out outside of Paradise and he was still acting that way, she's probably like, okay, so it's not a camera thing. It's not a whatever. I'm learning the real you, so this is you. That could be it. Yeah, they're very cute. I like right after the episode ended, I went on Instagram and looked at everybody's little thing,
And their
and I was
stories,
just,
everyone's stories were so freaking cute.
did you see Noah and Abigail's reels
Yes, I did.
and the
And
songs that they chose?
no, they're like in love. Like I think
Yeah.
like they're lifers. I
It was
really
very,
think.
very sweet. I loved it.
I
Well, and you
agree.
kind of, I feel like we know more about them in those like 60 seconds than we did the whole time they were on
It's
Bachelor in
true.
Paradise.
Yeah, I know that's like the thing with Beck and Thomas and Abigail. No, we just didn't get to see a lot, I feel. And maybe they're just very more secretive. Like I almost wish we were well later in the episode you'll see that we do a um birth chart reading to kind of see who's the best match. And we only did the 3 couples that got engaged, but
I know.
I'm
Why did we
very
not do
curious.
Abigail and Noah? Because that would
I
be so
know.
interesting.
I'd be super interested in that. But
Mhm.
it's very exciting. I'm happy for everybody. There's 5 solid couples that came out of this season. The only other
Okay,
okay,
sorry,
go.
but
Yeah, go ahead.
why the hell did they put Kendall coming back in? That was the most pointless, idiotic, rude thing for ABC to do. Sorry, but
And
I
it's
blame
I don't
them.
even think it's Kendall's fault. It's just the producers, and it was just like because it was a pretty mellow finale. But it was
Mhm.
because it was happy, you know? Like there's
Yeah.
3 couples who got engaged. So I think they were trying to insert some type of drama that just wasn't there.
Mhm.
And it's a bummer to me that John that Joe, my man, and Serena have to have like no offense to Kendall, but that was Joe and Serena's moment. And I'm just kind of bummed for them that Kendall had to be in that memory.
I know, and even walk up onto that thing with him. It was just like, I was really thinking she was just going to be like, this is my last chance. And honestly, I would have respected it more if she actually wanted to be with him. But it didn't even seem to have a point. Like they had already had that conversation. That was unnecessary.
Yeah, it was kind of like her giving her blessing, but
It was unneeded.
people don't need your blessing.
Yeah. I don't know what that
Yeah,
was
like I
about.
said, I don't know. I don't fully. I mean, obviously, it wasn't Kendall's idea. Maybe she was still in Mexico, was bored that day. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I just thought it was dumb. I'm not like mad at her, like whatever. And I
Yeah,
guess I'm gonna still watch The Bachelor, so I'm not that mad. But I just thought it was really stupid and
yeah.
just
It
like,
was just kind of like whatever. It was a last ditch attempt for the producers to add more drama to the show.
and all it did was add to the preview. But during the
Yeah,
actual time,
the
I'm like,
preview it worked.
yeah, but it did not work.
Yeah,
But I fell so in love with Serena and Joe more than ever on that last episode, that the
they're
finale.
so fucking cute. I know. Like, I want also like I keep talking about this second segment because we already recorded it. So we go through all of the sign or all of their kind of birth chart readings, and it's important to know that we did that before the actual finale. And I even texted Imani today. I'm so all in on Serena and Joe, and I think they're gonna get married and have a bunch of babies.
I actually am pretty all in on all of them. I could imagine them all staying together. Like, probably not going to happen just because statistics in love and life, but I actually wholeheartedly believe in every couple. I really do.
Interesting. Kenny and Mari,
They're the least of it,
sure.
but the way that Kenny was talking and the fact that he never wanted to be engaged, never wanted to
Even
be
though he
married.
went on 2 shows where engagement was the goal.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
So funny. I saw like a meme on it today, and I'm like, I just never want to be engaged. And like, you've been on 2 engagement shows, so
Well, and the only thing that still could be a thing is just Mari's age. And he was very cautious of it too. Like maybe,
sure.
but it did sound like she's always wanted to be young and get married.
Yeah,
And
I
like,
mean, it's like you've always wanted to get married and have babies like right away.
yeah,
That's been like your goal.
yeah,
And there's a lot more people like that out there that I think people don't realize.
yeah. Yeah, I'm just wishing all the love and happiness
Oh,
to
me
everyone.
too.
I'm just so excited to watch everything unfold on Instagram.
But we haven't even talked about my favorite part of the whole episode.
Oh, Aaron.
No way. Like the reason why it's just so amazing and funny to me is because Tia was just so like, they just were on a level where it really even mattered.
No, and it was
truly.
actually cute.
It was the
Like,
most.
give me your number. Like, I'll call. Like, it was just adorable.
It was the most hilarious thing because they're obviously not going to get engaged.
No.
But the fact that he didn't even go to like a daybed or go downstairs and it's like, hey, yeah, so yeah, I'm leaving, but give me your number. Bye. She's like, are you serious? I hate you. But she did it in like a funny way. I even think Tia
Yeah.
like respected it, like thought it was hilarious.
No, I think she loved it. I think it actually was probably better than sitting down and having to have a serious conversation when there's like not really a serious conversation to be had.
No, exactly. It was just it made the whole finale for me. Those are the little moments in Bachelor in Paradise that I'm gonna miss because Bachelor and Bachelorette just get so serious, and there's
Yeah.
less of those kind of lighter moments that I just
Less friendship moments. like
yeah,
that too.
exactly.
Mhm.
So that was a lot of fun.
Okay, I think that's all. And so there was no after the final rose, but I think there normally is.
Yeah, they're not gonna
But
do it this year.
Yeah, because of COVID.
No, I think it's I read an article, so take it
Okay.
as what you will.
Mhm.
I don't even remember which one it was, so sorry, no source. But they just are so focused on already starting The Bachelor and just production wise, and since they've already kind of created this world of Bachelor podcasts, that like
Mhm.
that's kind of where they can tell their kind of after story
Ooh, I
that
like
they don't
that.
even feel like they need it.
Yeah, and I actually loved how it ended. Like the little montage
I
and then
love
saying
the
little things. I
montage.
loved it.
I did too. And Joe and Serena were on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast with Becca and Tia, which is Tia the new co-host since Rachel's not doing it? Maybe.
guess, I don't
think
know.
so. But so I mean they're making their rounds on the podcast. If you want to care about where they're at now, watch them. So Bachelor Happy Hour, Joe and Serena, if you're interested. Can we talk
Yeah.
about actually the Bachelorette sneak peek, unless you have anything else to say about Bachelor in Paradise?
No, I don't have anything else to say, and yes, we can, because I loved it. I
So
think it's going to
good.
be a great season.
I think so too. And I know we talked about like the new Bachelor, who everyone really knows, even though it's not technically a thing, is Clayton.
Mhm.
And I was really paying attention to his parts. I even paused certain things and I literally looked at the screen and looked around to give any hints. And I think he's
Mhm.
somewhat far.
Which is so annoying. I don't know
know.
why they did that.
I know.
Why did they do that?
I know.
But who can tell us why they did it, though? That's all I want to know. Like, actually, what's the thought process behind it?
We'll get clarity, but yeah, I'm not sure when.
Okay, so the next part of this episode, we had Imani Butler come on and do mystic matches on our like last three couples. So Miles.
I don't know who Miles is.
No, I have friends named Miles and Marissa, so I got confused. So now I can't think of his name because of that. Okay, Riley and Marissa, Serena and Joe, and Mari and Kenny. And so she looks at their birth charts and goes through like all the different signs and moons and Mercuries or whatever, like how people communicate and show love. And to say if they're going to be a good couple or not. And it was really cool. It was really cool because she doesn't know anything about The Bachelor. So
she was literally explaining the relationships without even watching the show.
Yeah.
We're so excited to talk to Monty. I hope you guys are excited too. Hello, we are back. We want to do something extra special for the finale. So we have Miss Imani Butler on. She is the owner of Rayon Collective, and she's actually going to be on a full episode later this month where she gives me and Amy birth chart readings, and we do an impromptu tarot reading too. We'll see what happens. What? But until then, we obviously need to talk about Bachelor, and we thought it'd be fun to kind of tell us what exactly you're going to be doing for us today.
Yeah, so you guys asked me to come on and talk a little bit about the Bachelor contestants, and you wanted to see their compatibility based on their birth chart. So basically what I did was do mini birth chart readings for each of the couples. So we'll get into, who I think is going to be maybe who is most likely to stay together, why people are going to have certain issues and stuff like that. And also keep in mind, I have not watched any of The Bachelor, so I don't have an idea or clue on who anyone is or anything like that. All I did was look up their birth information on Google, and that is it.
I'm really, really excited for
I am
this. Amy, do you
too.
think that there's a couple that's going to surprise you? Do you think there's going to be one that like is our favorite and she's like, never gonna work?
Well, I don't want to say. Well, I guess she already knows. I don't want to mess with it.
Oh,
you know?
you don't want to mess any juju. Give her more information. All right, I understand. All right, so maybe we should do it. Who should we? Does it matter who we start with, Imani?
Okay, so we'll talk about Joe and Serena first. Is that fine?
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's very
Okay.
great. And we can we just from now on though? Can we call him Grocery Store Joe instead of just Joe?
Okay.
Is that okay
Grocery
with you?
Store Joe. Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Okay,
awesome.
so Grocery Store Joe and Serena. So what is very interesting about their charts is they actually have a very like similar placement. So we're gonna get into that. So Grocery Store Joe and Serena are both Scorpios in their 10th house. So that's pretty interesting. So the 10th house is about the house of status, the house of career, the house of achievements and direction. So it's pretty interesting that they're both on the Bachelor. And it's also interesting that they both have the same placement. So Scorpios are very secretive. So I feel like I don't really know how they interact on the show, but I feel like they can be very secretive. I feel like they can either hide things from the audience or hide things from each other. I feel like they are kind of very like private when it comes to certain things. And I feel like they don't really like I feel like they're just like the most like either sneaky or we kind of just know the least like information. But I also feel like there's this like aspect where it's like they're very like intriguing. Like I feel like people are really like lured into them and they kind of like bring people really in. Like I feel like they have a personality that like really draws people in. And so that's what I'm kind of getting for their Scorpio placements.
The secret cards is very interesting to me because I have an inkling about a bad rumor about Serena, but Grocery Store Joe is my man. So if she's keeping a secret from my man, we need to call her out, Imani. We need to come together as women and tell her how it is. That's my response, Amy.
I feel like that doesn't totally surprise me because I feel like they both are a little bit more reserved of like maybe wanting to keep their relationship like close at heart, if that makes sense.
They're going to stay together and they're going to keep dating, but I don't think they're going to get engaged on the show. But I don't know. Sorry, I'm overstepping, Imani. You tell us.
Their moon sign is all dealing with like how they deal with their emotions, how they handle their emotions, and how they just deal with their emotions. And so Grocery Store Joe is a Virgo in the 8th house. And then Serena is a Leo in the 8th house. So they both have their 8th house placements in their moon sign. 8th house is all about transformation. It's all about rebirth. And it's all about kind of being secretive. And it's also ruled by Scorpio. So keep in mind that's kind of a double Scorpio in a sense. So the fact that Grocery Store Joe, his moon is in Virgo, is he is secretive, but I feel like when it comes to his emotions, he likes to tell whoever it is how like he's feeling. Like I feel like he goes a very direct approach and a direct route when it comes to his emotions. He doesn't get very emotional, or I feel like he won't really cry. I feel like he'll just tell people directly how it is and kind of just let them know like, hey, this is how this is. This is kind of where I'm coming from. I feel like he's definitely more practical and more analytical. So Serena is a Leo. And so I feel like with her being like a Leo moon, like I feel like she, when it comes to her emotions, she really does not like to show her emotions. She really likes to come off as confident. She doesn't really like to seem like anything is bothering her. So if something does happen or a scandal does happen, I feel like she's just like, she tries to brush it off. She tries to act like it doesn't bother her. And she kind of really cares a lot, I feel like, about her image and how she appears. And so I feel like that is like what triggers a lot of her emotions, is because based on like her appearance and like how she interacts with people. Like, I feel like she doesn't want to seem a certain way in the public eye. So I feel like she presents herself in a very specific way on camera, because she doesn't want people to kind of see, I feel like, the real her in a sense.
I'm just scared. I'm just scared, man. If she's a liar, if she's a little sneak chick and ruins Grocery Store Joe, I'm gonna ruin her.
Ditto to what Amy said.
Okay, so next in their big three is Grocery Store Joe. His rising is Capricorn. So I feel like, again, that kind of shows that he is very business oriented, very money minded, and I feel like the fact that he went on this show is for love, but I feel like it's also in a sense for publicity and for like to kind of, have some sort of status as well. So I feel like that's just something to keep in mind. I feel like he's very status driven. And then Serena's her rising is Sagittarius. So I feel like that like kind of shows that she really does like to travel. So maybe her reasoning for being on the show is getting to kind of travel, getting to have a new experience, getting to mingle, getting to kind of, do things differently.
I'm so focused. I'm like so in on you right now. This is intense stuff. This is going to make us weekly.
Okay, so this is serious stuff. Okay, so we're next going to talk about the Venus placement. So the Venus placement is the placement of love. So this is kind of the placement that we want to look at, especially in all the couples, to kind of see, are they compatible, how they're going to deal and express their love and stuff like that. So
this is a big one.
Yes. So Grocery Store Joe's Venus is in Scorpio in the 10th house. So the 10th house is all about status, career, and achievements. So that's very interesting. So that's the same placement as his sun sign that we discussed a little bit earlier. Okay. So Serena's Venus is Sagittarius in the 12th house. So the 12th house is all about subconscious, spirituality, trusting your intuition and everything like that. So I feel like with Grocery Store Joe, the Scorpio in the 10th house really kind of focus it on, I feel like there's like parts of himself that he hasn't yet expressed to Serena. And I feel like he wants to, but I feel like he's also been holding back. So I feel like there's parts of him, like when he is in a relationship, he feels like he can't fully express himself or fully can't be himself. And I feel like that kind of affects his relationships because he's not able to be like as close. I feel like he's a very like closed off person in a sense. Like I feel like he doesn't really open up when it comes to like emotions or really expressing how he feels, especially based off of like his other placements as well. Like I feel like he's very grounded. He takes a very logical approach. And I feel like when it comes to love, I feel like he does like love deeply. But I also feel like I think it's interesting that he is on the show because I just feel like this sense of like, I feel like he doesn't like his relationship to be in the limelight. But like, I feel like in the same instance, like, I feel like that 10th house placements, like of like wanting this to be your career or wanting to be very like famous and like having, kind of that money aspect to it. Like, I feel like he does like the limelight in a little bit. So it's kind of like this double-edged sword of like not wanting to express himself, like his love in that way. But I feel like he wants to express himself. So I think that's what's like kind of interesting. Like, I feel like he would do good maybe on a different reality show where it didn't come to dating. I guess I'll say that.
I'm about to blow your mind, Imani. Since you don't watch the show, this is his third time. Third time on the show. And the second time, he was with the same girl he met on the show for 3 years. Wow. That's kind of it's very interesting to me. But he is very like he's the host of a very popular Bachelor podcast. He started a few businesses, with the status that Bachelor has given him. But I mean, me and Amy talk all the time because everyone gives like Bachelor. I don't know if you've heard of the term of just like there for the right reasons. Like they're always like, you aren't there for the right reasons. Get the fuck out. But yeah. I think sometimes you can be there for maybe the fame or some of the status while still being like yourself and being open to a potential relationship. And I feel like that's maybe Maybe Joe. That's what I think, at least.
Yeah.
I'll always stand up for my man, Imani.
That's crazy that he's been on the show that many times and actually was still in relationships after that. So the next thing that I kind of wanted to mention was Serena. So her Venus is in Sagittarius in the 12th house. So that 12th house, again, is all about like subconscious, completion, everything like that. So I feel like she's like the type of person when it comes to love where it's like things like to be the same. Like I feel like she constantly likes something new, something different. I feel like she's always searching for like like the next best thing in a sense. And I feel like there's a sense of like if they were to stay together, he like I don't know, I feel like he would either need to be a little bit more adventurous or he would have to do like a little bit more out of his comfort zone to kind of relate to her a little bit more, because I feel like she's like the type of person who really likes to travel and really likes to do extravagant things, or really likes to like, or has like a lot of life experiences and stuff like that. And I feel like he has as well, but I feel like he's definitely more like down to earth. And I feel like she's definitely more kind of just, she kind of likes her lifestyle a certain way, I feel like. And I feel like when it comes to love, I just feel almost like I don't know if she's ready to settle down. Like, I don't know if she's been in other serious relationships or anything like that. But it kind of seems like I feel like she still has some, like, either maybe still wanting to casually date or still kind of wanting to maybe, explore a little bit more. But yeah, I don't know.
There's a
like,
big age difference there.
Yeah. And I feel like that is also like a huge factor too. Because it's almost like 10 years.
Think? Are they gonna stay together?
So I do want to talk about, we'll talk about one more
Sorry,
placement.
I jumped ahead. Sorry, I'm getting really excited.
So we're going to talk about Mars. So this is, again, about aggression, how you get in arguments, assertion, all that stuff. So Grocery Store Joe's is an Aquarius in the first house. So first house is all about self, all about your younger self, how you identify, stuff like that. So hers is Sagittarius in the 12th house, so the same as her Venus placement. So again, I feel like when they get in arguments with each other, Serena can sometimes like either want to like leave the scene. I feel like she doesn't really like to argue. I feel like she tries to just get up and go. I feel like Joe can get very emotional, and I feel like he definitely takes more of an emotional approach when he is angry. I feel like he either tries to tap into her emotions, or I feel like he really kind of tries to express how he feels. Like I feel like he really just uses like a lot of like whatever's in his head, he'll kind of just spurt out without really thinking about it first. And I feel like she's the type of person to, if they start getting in an argument, she's going to kind of just leave the situation and walk away or walk off and not really handle it. So I think that's another thing to kind of keep in mind.
They really haven't argued much on the show, so that's very interesting. Like, I don't obviously know if that is true, but if it is, like, we don't even know. So that's interesting to think.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say when you do my birth chart reading in a future episode, you say that I'm an emotional arguer as well. And since he is, would we be great together? Me and Grocery Store Joe.
You guys have some similarities, but based off my conclusion, similarities aren't always what's necessary. But yeah. So if you guys do want to know, I know you guys are waiting for the big answer. Do I think these two are compatible? So I think in ways they are compatible, but I do think there's going to be a lot of kind of head bumping in the future just because they are so similar in different ways. And so I feel like there is going to be headbutting when it comes to secrecy. I feel like it's also, they're going to have some headbutting when it comes to, I feel like Serena's going to want to be very public, very like out there. And I feel like Grocery Store Joe isn't going to be like that. So I feel like there's going to be bumping heads about that as well. And I also just feel like part of the age gap as well is going to kind of be a factor, because I feel like Serena's the type of person who wants to continue to kind of do certain things, kind of live her certain lifestyle and everything like that. So I feel like based off of those certain things, I do feel like they're going to date, but I feel like they are going to maybe bump heads in certain areas. So next couple we're going to talk about is Kenny and is it Mari?
Mari, yeah.
Their sun sign. So Kenny's is Gemini in the 10th house. So again, this is another interesting thing too. Joe and Serena both had 10th house place their sun in the 10th house, and so do Kenny and Mari. And it's interesting because
interesting.
Again, 10th house, yes. The 10th house again is ruled by success, career, and achievement. So the fact that they're on The Bachelor and they're being seen and they're being in the public eye, I feel like makes very much a lot of sense. So Kenny's is.
I have a quick question. Do you mind if I interrupt you for a second? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Would either of you go on The Bachelor?
I feel like I would, yeah. Bachelor in Paradise.
I would too. And don't we both have
yeah.
those like status like things in our birth charts?
I know.
I feel like we both
wait, yeah.
do. I feel like it's like a Fitum thing, right?
Oh wait, yeah, that's interesting. So Kayla, your sun is also in the 10th house, and then Amy, your moon is in the 10th house. So yes.
Oh, we could all be on there.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah, I would
Just
consider
saying.
it. I just think I would just be so insecure and scared the whole time, just because that's a lot of pressure.
So Imani's actually friends with Alana too. Alana was on that episode not too long ago. Did you hear what we did to her?
Wait, what did you guys do?
We submitted her to The Bachelor. We nominated her. So really, send out those vibes so she gets a call.
I know, yes, she needs to be on it.
She'd be perfect. I called her. She's like, she'd be the perfect Armenian goddess.
Yes. So Kenny's sun is in Gemini in the 10th house. Mari's is Aries in the 10th house. So the Gemini energy is kind of, again, that duality, but it's also kind of having kind of a mixture of both sides. So having like kind of both extremes in a sense. And I feel like that Aries energy is very fire energy. It's the type of person they're just going to go for it. They're not going to really ask questions. They're not going to ask for permission. They're just going to go and do things. So right away, initially from these two placements, I kind of get this sense of like, I feel like they argue a lot, or I feel like they kind of bump heads a lot because I feel like they are kind of like complete opposites in a sense. So I feel like there's certain areas where they they bump heads and they don't really get along. But I feel like it's one of those relationships where it's like, even though they don't really get along, they still are like really attracted to each other and they still have this like flame. Like I feel like it's a very like hot and cold relationship. So that's a little bit about their sun sign. Do you guys have any comments so far?
That's creepy. Right, Amy? That is so spot on.
That's spot on.
Okay.
They already broke up once.
Oh my, okay, yeah. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because they're like, and we'll get into why, because it's like, they're basically complete opposites. And it's like, opposites do attract in a sense, but
sure.
There's just a lot of differences. So we're going to get into their moon sign. So his is Gemini in the 10th house again. And again, moon is all about emotions, how you deal with emotions. So again, when he deals with his emotions, he's going to be very hot and cold. He's not going to tell her directly how he feels. He's going, especially because his Mercury, which Mercury is ruled by communication. So his Mercury is in Cancer. So he's not going to tell her exactly how he feels. I feel like he's a very emotional person. And I feel like he can let the emotions get the best of him. And I feel like he's not a very clear communicator at all. Like, I feel like he will kind of use emotions. He'll try to manipulate. He'll try to gaslight in a sense. But I feel like he doesn't really mean to do it, but I feel like he does it. And then with Mari, her moon is in Aries in the 9th house. So the 9th house is all about learning and travel. And so again, that Aries energy, when it comes to the emotions, she's just going to, whatever goes through her mind, she's not going to have any filter. She's just going to shoot it right out. She's just going to not have any filter. She's going to let whatever she's feeling out and really not care about if it affects anyone, not care, how she says it. She's just going to say it in a way that's very fast and rapid. So I feel like when it comes to them arguing and everything like that, it's going to have a little bit of issues as well. His rising sign is in Virgo. So again, that Virgo energy is very the straightforward energy, just very practical, very go for it. So I feel like that contradicts a lot of his Gemini placements and also contradicts his Cancer placements. So I feel like when it comes to his rising sign, I feel like he isn't as practical or logical as he wants to be, but I feel like he does have a lot of things planned out. So I feel like maybe with whatever he has in his career, I feel like he probably has like a really stable career and stuff like that. But I feel like when it comes to other things, he doesn't really have it together. And then Mari's is Cancer. So
Interesting.
what does he do for work?
He's a boy band manager. I don't know how stable that is. I'm not in the boy band industry. But
well, I mean, that is like managing, having to plan out someone's schedule, having to like.
Yeah, maybe he works for like a talent agency or something. They always like to do kind of funny names for their careers, even if it's a little bit more serious than it actually seems,
That is so random. But yeah, so Mari, her rising is in Cancer. So that's where a little bit of her emotion side kind of comes in. So I feel like when it comes to her rising, like once someone really gets to know her, she shows her emotions, but until then she kind of has a front. She doesn't show how she feels. She doesn't express her emotions. She's very kind of cold, very kind of like straightforward. But once I feel like you'll know when she really likes someone or when she really cares about someone, when she really starts expressing her emotions with them. Yeah, so we're going to talk about their Venus placement, which again is all about love. So Kenny's is Gemini in the 10th house. So again, he has a lot of Gemini 10th house placements. So a lot of kind of like a roller coaster in a sense. So again, the 10th house is the Gemini 10th house placement is the same as his sun and his moon. So he has the same placements in those categories. And then Mari's is Gemini in the 11th house. So the 11th house is all about community, friendships, collaboration. So again, the fact that she is on a love like show kind of makes sense, especially with her 11th house placement, because it has to do with collaboration. It has that sense of community, that sense of friendship, kind of like partnership in a sense. So I feel like that kind of makes sense for her. But when I do feel like their love, I feel like it's going to be very hot and cold. And I feel like they're definitely going to bump heads in a lot of different areas. And I kind of feel like they're not going to be like, they're not going to be on the same page with a lot of things. I feel like he's going to see things one way. She's going to see things another way. And I feel like they're not going to want to compromise. So I feel like them not wanting to compromise is going to kind of be the downfall of their relationship. And I also kind of feel like they're not going to really be able to communicate well either, because when we're talking about the Mercury, all about communication, his is ruled by Cancer in the 11th house and hers is ruled by Taurus in the 10th house. And so those again are opposites. So that's that water energy and then that earth energy. So it's kind of like when he's talking out of emotions. When she's talking, she's more grounded, she's more balanced. She's like, definitely not going to have emotions in the conversation. And I feel like that's going to be very like difficult, because I definitely feel like Kenny is definitely more emotional in a sense. And so do I think they're going to be together? I actually don't think they're going to last I don't think they're going to make it the finale. If that's how it works. But yeah, I don't think they're going to make it.
Yeah, I could see that. What do you think, Amy?
I could see them getting engaged, but breaking up
immediately.
Yeah, like pretty
they are
quickly
so
after.
Like hot, like all over each other, and then the next day he's like, "We don't have the passion." And I'm like, settle down. It's been a couple weeks. I've been with the same guy for 10 years. Do you want to talk about passion? Okay. Like, sorry, but like, it's been a couple weeks. If you already lost the passion, there's no hope. Yeah, I think they're gonna get swept up in the situation, get engaged, and then be donezo 3 weeks after it's aired. But people who are listening to this right now, the finale's already happened, and we'll get to see where they're at. But just know that this is a couple days before the finale.
Yeah, I can't wait to see like what the results are.
Right? I think you're totally hitting it on the nail. Or on the head?
Okay,
Hitting it on the nail on the head? What's this? What is the saying?
Hitting the nail on the head.
Those. Yeah, it's some type of tool. Sorry, you can go ahead.
You're really hammering it right now.
Coming in with the puns. Okay, so we're going to go on to the last couple, which is Marissa and Riley. So Marissa is also a Gemini in the 10th house. So she's going to have kind of similar energy to Kenny when it comes to his sun sign. And then Riley is a Virgo in the 10th house as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So again, the 10th house is all about status, career, and achievement. So I feel like when it comes to Riley, I feel like he really prioritizes his like career. I feel like he is very like analytical when it comes to anything dealing with his money. And I feel like him being on the show is a very strategic reasoning. Like I feel like he was like, okay, this is not only a way for me to maybe find love, but also for me to kind of excel like the career in a sense. So I feel like he's another one that is kind of using this as a way to either further his career or kind of just have kind of something to do. Like I feel like he's the type of person where he always needs something in his schedule. He always needs to be constantly doing something. And I feel like this is just kind of something that he's like kind of something to do. With Marissa, her sun being in the 10th house Gemini, I feel like that Gemini energy of her being hot and cold kind of comes through. But I also feel like she's one of those people who she really does try to tailor herself based on who she's around. So I feel like when she's around Riley, she tries to be super sweet. But when she's around other people, she might switch it up. It might act different. I feel like when it comes to dealing with the other women, I feel like she can kind of just sometimes be like more to herself. I feel like she like almost can just be like very just to herself, and like I feel like she really focuses a lot of her energy on Riley and not really on like other people, I guess, in a sense. And so I feel like she can be very like wrapped up into him. So that's a little bit about their sun signs.
Okay. I could see that.
And then we're going to get into their moon sign. So again, moon is all about emotions. So Marissa's is Sagittarius in the 4th house. So I feel like when it comes to emotions, she can really retreat to like a younger version of herself. I feel like she can bring up a lot of like either childhood feelings or childhood emotions. And I feel like she, when she gets like sad, I feel like she can resort to that kind of inner child in a sense. And I feel like she can also be a little bit flighty when it comes to her expressing her emotions. Like she doesn't really like to tell him how she's feeling, and she kind of just feels like she wants to kind of avoid the topic. And I feel like he has Cancer in the 8th house. So Cancer placement he is very emotional, and he does things out of emotion, and he likes to express his emotion. And that eighth house placement is all about partnership. So especially with his partner, he likes to express his emotions. He likes to communicate how he's feeling, and he likes to be very open with her. So I feel like he is the one that's kind of making her more open in a sense. And I feel like she's a little bit more closed off. So that's kind of just like the energy that I'm getting for both of them when it comes based off their moon sign.
I have a question, a follow-up.
Yes. Yes.
If you're uncomfortable, you don't have to answer. Birth chart readings and stuff like that. Is there any way that you could tell how they are in the sack? Because I'm pretty sure they're freaks.
Okay, yeah, I feel like you can. So yeah, and I feel like I already knew you were gonna ask that question, but yeah, I feel like you can. So the placements that I would look for that specifically, really I feel like it would be their Mars placement. So we can talk about their Mars placement. We can actually talk about it right
Give us
now.
the sex version.
Yeah, so I feel like this is pretty interesting because their Mars is also both in the 10th house. So the fact that they express that on TV, the fact that they're very sensual on TV, I feel like makes a lot of sense. The one interesting thing is Marissa's Mars is in Taurus in the 10th house, and Riley's is Libra in the 10th house. So I feel like Riley is definitely like going to be someone that likes to like please his partner. Like I feel like he's definitely going to want to make sure she's taken care of. I feel like he's definitely going to want to make sure she's fine and everything like that. And I feel like Marissa is definitely going to be the type of person to kind of like enjoy taking. I feel like she's also going to be the type of person to kind of like, I feel like definitely I feel like he's the one that's like more opening her up, like again like what I was saying earlier, but I feel like she kind of sticks to what she knows, but I feel like he was the one that's kind of was like, okay, let's do this, let's do that. And but I feel like he doesn't do anything obviously like outside her comfort zone, but since she has that Taurus energy, I feel like she kind of doesn't really like going out of her comfort zone too much, but I feel like she does, and I feel like she's starting to kind of open up and express herself a little bit more. And the reason why I feel like that as well is because she does have a lot of Gemini placements. So her Venus is in Gemini in the 11th house. So that kind of can also deal with like love, sex, everything like that as well. So I feel like hers being in Gemini in the 11th house can kind of also show like she might like it different ways. She like might like to switch it up. So even though she has like that comfort zone, she might be okay like pushing the boundaries in a little bit. And the fact that Riley's Venus is in Scorpio in the 12th house, that's all about transformation, all about trying something new, trying something different. Like I feel like he's definitely going to be the person to want to experiment with things, try new things, and kind of be the one to kind of explore different situations. So I feel like definitely when it comes to their sex life, I feel like they have a very like healthy sex life, and I feel like they definitely explore and do things that are out of maybe the traditional things that people do.
Getting wild.
Yes.
No.
Yeah,
She
and so
sucks
when
whipped
it does,
cream off of his big toe on television. I just like
oh wow,
believe
okay,
it. I
yeah,
was
that
just
is.
like, what are you doing?
Oh
No,
yeah,
so
that
it
is
makes sense
definitely
that they're like
something.
all out on TV. All right, well, I asked the hard questions, Amy. Let's get ready.
Yes, and so touching a little bit more on their Venus when it comes to love as well. So the fact that they are like a Gemini Scorpio, I feel like they are going to clash in some ways just because I feel like the Scorpio again can sometimes retreat, can sometimes hide certain things, and also kind of just be going through their own personal journey and their own personal kind of like path. Like I feel like even though he is a little bit older, like I feel like he's still in some aspects a little bit more immature for his age. And so I feel like when it comes to like him expressing his love, he can be a little bit immature. He might not show how he really feels. And I feel like he kind of like deflects in certain situations. And I feel like with her, like I feel like she's not really necessarily ready to be in a really serious relationship either. Just because I feel like with that Gemini energy, and also just some of her other energy, I feel like she really just wants to be able to kind of explore different things, try different things out, kind of, you know, live her life a little bit more. Like I feel like she also kind of maybe wanted to go, you know, especially because she has a lot of Taurus placements in the 10th house as well. Like maybe just wanting to go on that show for security or for stability or for some sort of like financial, like stability in a sense too. So I feel like, you know, her motives might also be not necessarily in it always for love. I don't really see the relationship being hot and cold. Like I feel like they're able to work things out and kind of talk about things a little bit more, especially with their Mercury placements as well. Their Mercury placements are actually the same as their Mars placements, so I feel like they have very good communication and they're able to work things out when arguments do arise. So I feel like they don't really fight that much, and I feel like they don't really argue. But yeah, so do I think they would be compatible based on their birth charts? Honestly, out of all the couples, I feel like this one, based off just their birth chart, they are kind of the most compatible. I feel like they are going to have some issues maybe in the long run when it comes to expressing emotions and things like that. But I do feel like, based off of the other people, I feel like these two are the most compatible in my opinion. And then the second most compatible, I feel like, is Joe and Serena, grocery store Joe and Serena. I feel like they're also pretty compatible, but I do feel like I don't think they're going to I feel like they're not going to end up in the long run together. So I feel like they're going to eventually break up. I feel like Kenny and Mari are going to break up before the finale. And Marissa and Riley, I feel like they're actually going to get engaged. So that's kind of like my opinion. What do you think?
Amazing. I love it. I'm so excited to watch the finale now. And then maybe, I don't know, me and Amy can. Yeah, for sure. I have to. Very interesting. Like, the Joe and Serena thing makes me nervous. But Kenny and Mari, I agree, man. Riley and Marissa are just, they're kind of boring to me. Right. But that's the thing, like, we always talk about, right, Amy?
Yeah, like, boring is good. The more boring, the more likely you are to end up together.
Exactly. Agreed. All right. Well, thank you so much for doing this, Imani. Well, make sure that you guys also check her out on the full episode. She does our birth chart and tells us more about what she does. And maybe you'll see her even more than that because we love her. So thank you.
So we hope you really enjoyed our special finale episode. We had so much fun with Imani, and it was just really cool to kind of see it all play out after like hearing everything she said. So everyone got engaged, so it didn't necessarily go exactly as she said, but it's pretty cool how spot on like the personalities and the relationships and how like that all went.
Agreed. Amy, take it away. You're killing this spot. Do it. Finish us off.
All right, so this episode's coming out today, and then on...
This episode is coming out today if you're listening to it and it's out.
Well, you shouldn't have told me to go with it
anymore. I'm taking over. And then I think we said it last week that we're going to be doing our relationship episodes every other week now, and then actually the Bachelorette is not starting until next week. So we won't have any new episodes this coming week, but be ready because we're going to be coming on strong the week after. We're going to be having Imani Ray. That's her Instagram. But we're having Imani Butler on our relationship podcast where she's going to talk about us and how we are relationships per our kind of like astrology chart.
Well, actually, you have to watch it because we are in Halloween costumes and that's just a treat for our eyes.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, so it's going to be very exciting. And then we're going to be doing our premiere episode from Michelle's season. So watch out for that. Make sure, since we're going to be off the podcast for 1 week, but we're going to still be going strong on social. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and TikTok is my personal fave. So,
and we have a straight relationship question episode coming up, so we would love all of your questions sent to stopwearingmyclothes@gmail.com.
Yes, and we just got Clubhouse. We just got our little exclusive invite. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm going to. Who is on Clubhouse? DM us. Tell me what you think. What should we do? That's all I have.
Have a great weekend.
Bye.